Hey, Jaya, how's that?
That's clear.
Yes.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
Yay.
No,
I
it's
may have
saying,
spoken.
yeah, my internet connection is saying that it's unstable again. Okay, I'm going to wander around. I might end up sitting in the laundry room at this rate. Okay. Is anything getting any clearer or any better?
Sorry.
Still nothing
For a
that's
moment.
any better. Okay, let's keep moving. I'm not sure where the router is in this house, so... Okay, let's try here. Is that any better?
Okay, that's worse.
Oh, God. Gee whiz, this is not going on, is it? Okay, is that any better?
A moment. So
Great. All right. We will give this a shot and hopefully it's going to work. We might see some kids along the way when they start waking up and walking around, but I know you'll bear with me. So it's so good to have you guys online. This is so exciting.
You might hear a walking group heading off from my house. So.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, so 9 o'clock in New Zealand for Molly and... No worries. So 9 o'clock in New Zealand for Molly and Jaya, Molly and Jude. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, just after now for me in Port Douglas.
You're brave. Very nice.
it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday here.
Where are you?
No, I live in southern Nevada in the...
Very nice. I just moved from Colorado, so it's nice to see a piece of home.
Colorado. Oh, nice. That's where I went
Boulder.
School. I went to school at
You did not. Get out. I was there studying transpersonal psychology. Yeah.
Small world, huh?
It's getting smaller every day. Yeah.
Is this making you feel a bit more homesick, Molly?
Funny. Yeah. Oh, I miss it.
And welcome, Michelle. How are you doing this morning?
So there's a new person. Yeah.
I am still in bed.
Oh, well, you had a late night. You were performing.
Woke up. I'm sorry. I didn't get to bed until like 1 o'clock this morning.
Oh my goodness. Can you hear me okay, Michelle?
Yeah, it was our final performance. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Everything's a little bit
dropping out though.
Yeah, I was going to say everything's a little bit delayed for me here. So I'm kind of on the tail end of what everyone else is saying and I'm missing little bits. So yeah, we might need to leave a little gap in between to cover everything off. So after party last night, then I take it.
Oh, no, we're all too old for that. It was a long night.
Oh,
there were 3 performances. So
wow. And where are you in? You're in Brisbane at the moment.
I'm in bed.
I didn't get that. Sorry, Michelle. Where are you?
In bed.
In bed.
Yeah, in bed. I just opened my eyes.
Oh, bless you. But the bed is in Brisbane, right?
Oh, yeah. No, you keep cutting out. I'm in Brisbane, if that helps.
It does. It does. This is not going to go well, is it? I don't know how to get it to. I'm going to try, and if I turn off my video, is that going to make any difference?
It seems to keep you clearer, and I've just got a
It
message
does?
saying your network bandwidth is low.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just come up as a little message on my screen.
That's interesting because it says I've got full bars. Everything is really ticking away. Every now and then it says that I've got a intermittent. It seems to give, like, Michelle's got red lines. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
Catherine, how are you doing? Molly's in and out. Jaya seems good. And Jude, you're the clearest to me.
Oh, okay. Yay, New
Okay.
Zealand.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen, let's, if you don't mind, we'll try it without my video and see if that actually makes a bit of a difference. Okay, so how is everybody feeling the day after the challenge of 7 days? How are you all feeling this morning? What's alive in you?
Is anyone talking?
No.
Oh, hello.
Everyone is stumped. So is everyone feeling...
We're all waiting for everybody else to go first, I think.
Yeah. Is everyone feeling quite... for me this morning, I'm feeling a little bit sad that the challenge is over. I've really enjoyed it, and I've been really inspired every day going in and looking forward to seeing the messages and looking forward to seeing the comments and looking forward to opening my emails. And it really brought it home to me that it's been a long time since I've been that enthusiastic about checking Facebook for, you know, exciting things, as opposed to it being a business tool and just a means to an end, you know, of things. And I think that's been because of so much engagement and commitment from you guys. So thank you so much for that, because it really has brought joy to my days. So I'm very grateful to you.
Well, you'll still be getting plenty of comments from me this week, because I'm only up to day 4 so far.
Just finished 3, so.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But the depth of questions are significant. So really giving focus. So I've been a time crunch in that regards, but I'm feeling quite inspired because I met someone yesterday who has succeeded, very well in her business, which is quite different from what I do. However, there's a level of belief in herself, as well as what she does and the quality of what she does, that seems to pull in exactly the people that she serves best, so that she can have a of clientele. And it felt just lucky, I guess, to meet her and to come at the end of this week as well, with a bit of a boost to continue believing in myself. And that's really a very big part at business answers at this stage. So that's where I'm at.
Wow, that's so awesome. That's really, really cool. I think you're quite right about the depth of the questions. You know, from my perspective, it was when I started really digging deep, and it became so much more about, you know, my own personal doubts, my own personal fears, my own personal lack of confidence in doing something totally new in terms of being out there fronting up my business completely on my own. That is, I think, when I started to identify that that was the thing that was challenging me the most, that's when I started going, okay, this is something that I need to work on. And as soon as I was able to work on myself, the other things in the business became, systematic. And then when I changed my focus from it's no longer about me, it's about my clients and my audience, and actually, connecting more with the why of what I'm doing and, my contribution in the world, then it became so much more meaningful. And I think getting you guys to start thinking about that why up front and then bringing it in, throughout the rest of the days to say, but how does that align with what you're doing, and how does that actually serve your people, and what is your connection? Why do you care about those people so much? That was something that nobody had actually ever asked me. And when I started thinking about, how do I care for them? Why do I relate to them? Why do they matter to me? I could say, actually, this is why I want to work with these types of people. This is why this is why I'm so passionate about it. And then that story is definitely one way of connecting the most and impacting and influencing people in such a way. And it just changed the transactional business into something more meaningful for me. And I've noticed quite a lot of you connecting with that too.
Oh.
We lost you, Allison.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, no, you're back.
Oh, you're back. Maybe you just went quiet. That's possible.
Do I say full stop at the end?
Yeah, like be like over and out, Roger.
Yeah. Absolutely. My goodness. Okay. So, how is everyone else feeling then after the challenge? So thank you so much for sharing, Molly.
Yeah.
I know you're all still in it, but knowing that 7 days has been.
Go ahead and fill it out.
Jaya, you're on.
Okay, so I.
Kat can go. Catherine can go.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. I'll be quick. I think I'm on like video 5 and still probably on worksheet 1, but it's really helpful. And maybe this is the same for other people in the group, or maybe not. But I'm not quite ready. I'm still working on starting a business, but for me, it's really helpful. I've always been a corporate professional, and so it's been really helpful just making the change from thinking myself as just that. Just starting to think about myself as someone who could be an entrepreneur, and that's a huge thing for me. So it's just been helpful with my thinking and starting to move in that direction. It doesn't mean I'm not going to necessarily stay in the corporate world, but I think more broadly.
Yeah, awesome. I think Catherine, doing what you do anyway in terms of your consulting, that whole personal brand and that why and the choices of working with certain corporations and organizations and things, a lot of that content is still going to mix across the divide between your entrepreneurialism and your corporate work that you take on, depending on how you choose to approach it. Over and out.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't hear Catherine now. Are you talking?
Check your audio button because sometimes it's flicking off.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I was just saying, yes, I agree. I can see those parallels, that some of the techniques thinking about being an entrepreneur, particularly like a conscious entrepreneur, I can see that they move across into the other. So,
Yay. Cool. Okay. So out of curiosity then, how much time was it taking for you each to do your day's challenges?
It's taken up most of my week actually.
Yeah.
Working through the challenges. I've just it's been really intense but really good. But every day and things, and basically my business this week has been doing this work. To integrate my thinking, I've been trying to run this business for about 2 years now, and I've been a bit haphazard and disconnected from my why. And I've been thinking lately, I need to do something about this. What's going on? And yeah, this just means it's just like it's all coming together. I'm waving my hands a lot. Sorry. Right, over and out.
I love it. Over and out. Oh, that's so good. I remember, it took me, I probably spent a good couple of weeks, and I did a lot of procrastinating around it as well when I first did my, when I set my own personal challenge. And, I tweaked the why, and I wrote a mission statement, and I wrote my values, and I went through all of those kind of things. But it was more to connect me with what I was doing so that I was ready to talk to people about it, so that I kind of felt confident in what I was doing and what I was saying. And a little while ago, I know Molly was on with me when we were doing a personal and professional introductions. And it was about getting that messaging right, of just being able to succinctly say who I am, what I do, and why I do it to a multitude of people. That's easy to digest, easy for them to understand, but gets them curious to be able to ask you questions, so that then, the people that do want to know and do want to engage and are of a like mind hear your message and want to know more, as opposed to, a big 5-minute spiel and the person goes, yeah, I'm a coach too, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it's about using those words, using that language and things. And it was really interesting for me to have to do so much work around the foundations of my business to be able to even share it in a way that felt right for me, even though I was in business, even though I was working. And that became really interesting, because it was, and I think that's something with service-based industries that are not necessarily run of the mill, that are new and emerging, especially in this, conscious business state where we're trying to bring more awareness, bring a different vibe. We're trying new things. People are open to more holistic practices. It is different. And getting to grips with how we communicate that in a language that is most understood helps. Yeah, definitely. Cool. So Jaya and Michelle, who would like to go next?
I'm ready, or I'm happy to wait. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So I'm still in the process. I've done challenges like this before. I'm sort of in that, as I shared with you, I feel like in that perpetual startup place of finding my way. If I want to be even more specific with who I serve. And so and actually in the process of conducting interviews with people to sort of see where I feel resonant. And so I'm not quite I got through some of it, but not all of it, and some of it was sort of revisiting old ideas, and some of it was just, you know, what has deepened, what do I understand more about myself in this process. So I am only on day 2 still, and I think I'll just work through it. This last week has been really, really busy, and so I'm glad to hear that the videos will stay up, that I have the time, and I can just schedule it in to make sure that I get through all the modules. And as I said, I'm sort of in the process of revisiting it first anyway right now, so it sort of just gives more perspective, more angles to look at.
Awesome. Thank you. So revisiting, do you find that beneficial? Have you seen that things are changing for you, Jaya?
I think my biggest challenge is really putting myself out there. That tends to be quite terrifying to me. Interviewed on a Facebook Live, and the person's request was that I post on my page about it, and I did. Oh my goodness! And then, of course, if we're not putting ourselves out, and so where I noticed my sticking points are both committing to be one thing. I feel like I'm very dynamic, and I want to remain dynamic in my business. It's one of the things that I enjoy most, and so anytime I try to sort of put myself in a box, I find that my rebellious parts really show up loud and screaming. So those are my biggest challenges, and so as I work through the challenges and the relaxation comes.
Yeah, the rest of the days will be interesting for you when you go into the audience, and then when you go into the sales and your structure. So you'll probably find those feelings come up and are challenged a little bit more when you get into 4, 5 and 6.
I'll just see how it goes. And I'll let you know. I'll send you a message.
Please do
shift. And I think I'm perpetually. You've known significant shifts in the last couple years since many more shifts to be had. It's always evolving. So.
And I think that's the thing, you know, none of this is ever going to be on point, because you're always going to want to get back up to, you know, you're going to reach one level of standard expertise, dynamic motion, and then you're going to want to exceed it, you know. And that's what I found working with a lot of entrepreneurs. They're never stationary, they're never static, they're never happy to just you know, say this is kind of where I'm at, and this is the level of service that I deliver. There's always something that is evolving, because we're creative and inspired and and moving. So it will be interesting to see, even over the course of the next couple of months, you know, what changes for you and how you you know, decide to focus on one thing. And I think it's when we talk about structures that the live that I did for that was around, you know, I used to be everything to everyone, and I used to try and do so many different things. And I used to, you know, talk about being bespoke and tailor-made. And then I realized that, you know, the experience when I went into my reflection state of where do I get the best results? Where do I feel the most empowered? Where am I actually, you know, really, truly doing the best job that I can do? Where am I in my zone of genius? That's when I said, actually, I need to start drawing some boundaries for myself so that I can get better at what I'm best at. And then when I know that is, you know, the zone of genius, I can then add something else. But I know that my core offerings are really tight. Everyone is always going to get the best from me, and I will get the best from them. And that made a difference, not compartmentalizing myself for too long, but saying, actually, I am one woman, I am able to do so many things. And I believe that unitasking in my zones of genius is the easiest way to get traction, feel as though I'm established and confident. Because again, a lot of the words that I use are about feelings. It's how I feel about it. It will be interesting to when you start surveying your customers, your clients, your audience, even asking for feedback, they will feel very differently about how they see you. So they will see you as an established brand. They will see you as in your zone of genius. They will see you as all of these things because, they will see you doing Facebook Lives. They will see you posting consistently. They will see you doing what you do and wearing your business persona and, being on point and on brand. You might not feel it, but taking on board how they perceive you actually helps you feel more alive and more confident in that zone of confidence. So getting that feedback, asking for that information is actually critical to building your understanding of how others see you, because it will not be how you see yourself. Over and out.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. My sense is that through the process that I'm going through now, where I'm interviewing people to figure out, I have sort of areas where I know are the zones I feel passionate, and sort of find where I'm really like, oh, I'm really, really, really excited to serve this person at this stage.
Yeah.
Versus, oh, that seems like a good idea, but maybe it wasn't. And my sense is that as I become more clear, and if I can really get very specific, as you say, in terms of seeing where I really excel, where my zone of genius is, and the content will come much more easily because I'm talking to a very specific person about a very specific problem.
Yeah, I hear that.
So I feel like I'm hopeful that. And so it's just, and it's not anything that's new for me. I've been specific, even more tailored.
Yeah.
So your challenge came at the perfect time for me.
Good. I'm glad, Jai. Thank you so much for sharing. Michelle, have you woken up yet?
Yeah, I've finished my coffee.
Good job.
I'm alive again.
Oh, thank you so much for coming to us so early. You're amazing. Oh, so how have you found the challenge? How are you feeling about it?
I've been in business with my partner, who is my partner, for 5 years in a retail store. Okay, we are a bike store and a triathlon business, but we don't just give you a bike. We do make sure the bike suits you, take you, teach you to ride, and we do with customers. So Damien, my partner, is ex-military, ex-corporate business manager. I'm a social worker and an actor, so flow, whereas he's very regimented, which makes for interesting fights. But we don't choose who walks through the door. Being a shop, people just come in. So we have the people that are extremely elite and obsessed by this sport, and then we have everyday people, And they're the ones I connect with, especially a lot of the ladies, because they're larger women and they're embarrassed to put lycra on and go bike riding. And so my mission, as I like to call it, is to engage with them and make them feel comfortable with themselves as people and help them learn to enjoy the sport and gain confidence from doing that. So it's really of open water swimming take on an Ironman, which is a massive, massive undertaking and months and months of training. So yeah, I'm a little bit different, I think, in that way. It wasn't my passion. My passion is mental health, but my partner started this business at home and my contract knew it. So I said, I'll work with you for 12 months and then I'll go out on my own. It's been 5 years and I'm still there. So.
Okay. Okay. So when you say you were going to go out on your own, what were you going to do?
From the challenge, I was going to open a one. I tend to do that online for a lot of people. And a friend of mine is a lawyer in family. So I actually do a lot of mediation with her, which I enjoy doing. So.
Okay. So you still keep your hand in what you are passionate with.
Yeah. I can't get away from it. People ring me all the time. So because I'm not a counselor that we do 10 sessions, usually by 3 or 4 sessions there's a clarity there for the client and we've built a plan up and then they call me once a week and we have a chat. So it's probably a modern day counselling service. We get to the root of the problem, is rebuild their life and get to focus on them.
Nice.
And that's something. Here's my week's message. A lot of people say yes to everything. Everyone goes, oh, would you like to do this? Would you like to do this? Would you like to? And everyone goes, oh, I better do that. I better do that. I better do that. And my focus this week with a lot of my clients has been to start saying no. If it doesn't serve you and it doesn't help you and it puts pressure on you, you need to say no. You need to choose right on and just say, thank you very much for the offer, but I can't work with that at the moment. I'm a little busy. Because I'm finding a lot of my ladies are starting to get burnout, trying to be the perfect parent and the perfect. That'll be my blog this week.
Okay. So when you took on the challenge, were you thinking of it for the shop or for yourself and your business?
Shop.
Okay. For you to try and get a connection with the shop or to see your value in what you bring to that business?
I think I've found my value from the first 3 days of doing the challenge. I've realized what my role is. It's become clear because it wasn't my passion. And I didn't feel confident because I'm not an Ironman. I don't train regularly. I prefer to be on stage. Hello, me. But I found my role in. We're trying to build our retirement plan. Like we can enjoy, and he'll go and live in a shack on a hill somewhere, and I'll go to Paris. It's really good.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I can't wait to see you do the rest of the challenge, especially when it comes to that sales day. So that is my next question, because I saw a couple of people do a couple of things on sale day, when we were talking about your sales pitches and getting confidence by practicing sharing 3 of your offers or one offer 3 times, and getting confident in that. So who has actually made it to that particular day and would like to talk through how they found approaching that email?
Yeah, I have not. I've just been thinking about it, and I asked you, Allison, about some ideas regarding the best things to offer in that regard. And so at this point, to feel open about offering something that changes the income level on my, for me, and that it's kind of open-ended and more playful in that way. And so so in looking, I'll have to go with focus on point, feel open to just making it happen so that I can be at a place where bringing people in is kind of the number one priority. So it's not so much about being strict and set in my price list and everything. So anyway, I'm lucky in that regard to be able to do that.
To have time, but would it be fair to say that the pressure is there for you from yourself?
So I think that the like, just to think about where the pressure is for me is at a place of uncertainty, just as far as feeling like at one point, like, just getting started where there's not consistent clients, and so I have an open schedule, and then in my mind I jump to this anxiety of, well, what happens when I have a full schedule and it's almost too much to juggle? And so finding that middle point in which, like, I feel capable and completely just balanced in the place of consistency that I want to, without being burnt out or in some way overwhelmed. So that's all in just my mind. In a thought basis, but
so it's easier, like Michelle was saying, to say no to work or to postpone, when somebody phones to book and schedule you. It's easier to be able to say, I am available, in a week, as opposed to, yes, I can do tomorrow, on top of, 5, 6, 7 clients, than it is to be sitting there twiddling your thumbs waiting. And also to test yourself. This is where, this practice, this is giving it a go. If it excites you, if you feel excited about it and it aligns with your why, you feel like you can help that person or you can do that work, you say yes, you give it a try, and then you do the reflection and you say, actually, that was too much today. Actually, that is more than I can manage. Or actually, I said no to that person because I was frightened, and I could have done one more. I feel elated. I feel excited. I feel, I've served these people, and that's actually given me more energy. So I think it's, rather than containing it all in your head, you need to get it out and actually just say, I'm going to try this. I'm going to see, even down to the conversations that you have with people when they ring and say, can I have an appointment, this day, this time, this hour, and you look at your schedule and it's either too busy or too empty. Saying, that yes no and getting into a pattern of being able to identify what feels right to you in that moment, for that day and for your business is critical.
Right.
So don't worry about the thinking about it so much. That's an old way of working. It's the doing, it's the practice, it's giving it a shot, but then the reflective work so that you know for next time and you set a boundary. That is a clear test. Does that resonate with you?
Level with what's that? Oops.
Sorry, I was just saying, does that resonate with you?
The personal level of being able to say no to the things that I inherently know might be harmful or full of stress, and like right alongside that saying yes to things that are on the level of knowing that it's nourishing or it's fulfilling. And the more one-on-one work that I can do with clients on my own, the greater my joy and confidence in what I'm doing, in my professions. So in some way at this point there is very little need to say no. Or there's more space and there's more opportunity that I'm just learning mentally to allow and let happen.
Embrace it, Molly. Awesome. So does anyone have any queries or questions about any of the particular challenges or any of the particular days that we've been through? Okay, life is quiet. So everyone is good with the challenges and everyone is happy with the understanding and the interpretation of them and things like that. What about questions about your businesses then? So let's open up the floor and get you to get specific about what you need next. What is your next stage? What is your next step? What are the questions that you would like support with, and how can I be of service to you?
I just have one quick question going back to the other one. Are you okay receiving questions if they come up for those of us who have not completed the challenge yet via Messenger? Or
absolutely.
Would you prefer? Yeah, okay.
Of course, Joya, absolutely.
I was just thinking about when, like, you're traveling, and I don't know if you're moving, but are you returning to Wellington anytime in the near future?
Yes, so we're coming back to Wellington, I think, in approximately 2 weeks, and then we're packing up the house and then hopefully moving straight over to Brisbane. Fingers crossed. But we're still waiting on our visas, so time is movable. So back in Wellington in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'm in Wellington too, so if you fancy a coffee and a commiseration session, we could do that.
Aww. That would be great.
Sounds like we're at similar stages.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh, it's going to be so good. You can keep me on Skype if I'm not there. Okay, so queries about about your business then. Where are you at in the stages of your business? What are you struggling with most, and where do you need support?
Oh, okay. I'll go.
Go, Michelle.
our business is totally unique. Hello. Because a lot of places are just bike stores. They don't do the full, because a triathlon is a swim, a ride, and a run.
Yep.
So we do the full thing. We also, Damien's a qualified bike mechanic, and he has qualifications a lot of other bike stores don't have. So we've, over 5 years, built a reputation that we're reliable, honest, and that's something that's really important to us.
Yeah.
We've watched about 5 or 6 bike stores in Brisbane area close in the last 2 years, which then puts Captain Worrywart, Damien, into meltdown because he's concerned about our business and what's happening. And I keep trying to bring him back to our business plan and mission statement and say, we don't be unique, help people with a lifestyle. We don't want people to buy a bike and put they're riding bikes and enjoying it with their families. So I've really tried to build our business on our uniqueness.
Yeah.
And people know what we do and they like it. It's worked really well. So hopefully people will start spending money against it.
What else do you do in terms of community? Because people that do sports like triathlons and Ironmans are very, they go through a power phase of focus where it's all they can do, you know, nutrition, training, mental aptitude, preparation, community. A lot of people don't understand their hypervigilance in their training and the reasons that they have to fit to the schedules and the routines that they do. So how do you support that side of the sport within your business?
Okay. We run workshops monthly, and I do the workshops where we talk about how to include your family in it.
Yeah.
Because triathlon has a very high divorce rate.
Yeah.
A very high divorce rate. Because one becomes obsessed and puts training in front of everything, and the other one feels like they're being left behind and replaced.
Yeah.
So when we go away for a race, we encourage families to bring their kids and their partners, and we make sure the family's included in the dinners, and you know, we take the kids down to the beach and, oh, look at daddy, and we make signs and have bells to ring, and we really I really work on that. Stop and think about your partner.
Yeah.
It's not the be all end all of your life. It's a change in lifestyle, but you've got to take your family with you. And I do a workshop where we talk about how to include the family. Get the kids to check on your training, and make sure that, give them a list so that they tick to make sure that you're doing the right runs, and give them a whistle, let them be a coach. You know, really get them involved. And
so that to me sounds more than just a bike shop.
There's a lot of oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have people come in and fall on the floor in what's called tapering. So the week before a large race, people go through this because their brain goes into overthinking, and they start panicking up on the floor sobbing because they've crashed their bike and they've got a race in 3 days. Take the crying bundle and I'll fix the bike. And that works really well. So
yeah.
But then again, Damien has a really great psychology because he's been doing it for 20 years, that people actually seek him out and go, can you help me with this? This is a problem. My nutrition's not working. That kind of thing. So yeah, we're very, very different.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the question that you need support with?
So support with. Holy crap. What are the current 3 barriers that you're feeling holding you back? The biggest one would be my partner, actually.
Okay.
Which is quite eye-opening for me because very okay, he's not here so I can speak openly. He's I find him restrictive. I find him an overthinker, and he gets very anxious. Whereas now the flip side of that is I jump into things. I don't plan. I don't do a risk assessment, as he likes to call it. Think of that. So I've learned to do case management plan and changed it over to the business. So I'm learning how to put steps in place and cover all the things we need to have covered. What annoys me is he's still in the mind, so he's always questioning me, and I don't like being questioned because I'm a manager. It's just he likes to talk a lot. Like, he never shuts up. If you ask him a question, you get a 20-minute discussion on the analysis of break to go, okay, thanks for saying no. That's the answer I needed. Let me get on with my life.
I can.
But and honestly, I just scream, shut up about 20 times a day. Just shut up. Concentrate and to get my tasks done. And he keeps interrupting. Really pisses me off. And then you were talking for 3 hours. So I didn't get it. Yeah, that's probably my major barrier that I'm struggling with.
So it's basically putting down some boundaries and requests for your partner as to how to manage himself and yourself.
We do toolbox meetings.
Yep.
And we close the business early Mondays so that, because, okay, he has a spreadsheet, which is the budget, which predicts what we're going to make and how much things are going to cost. And it is really good. But I don't need to look at it for 5 hours a day. It doesn't change until I put something in there. And then you go, okay, that's right. So it's he's an Iron Man. He has OCD and he's ex-military. So all those things mixed together to be a little bit overwhelming for me when I'm used to working quietly. I think because the business is his whole life, he trains with our customers. He doesn't have outside people. He's happy to come home and sit on a couch. But he's not a social person. He's just he's not social at all. Whereas I like to go out for dinner, and he's like, no, I'll just stay home. Classic case. I organised a surprise birthday party for him, and he wouldn't go. he figured it out and said, yeah, no, I'm staying home tonight. So I had to ring all his friends at the pub up food and your alcohol and just come to the house. And he had a brilliant night because
Yeah.
all his friends were here. But he just doesn't like going outside and being social. So I think he like and not have to be the professional.
Is it actually helpful for him, Michelle, to talk with you for hours at a time about, I guess, the business side of things?
Actually, that's a
like,
really
in
good
case.
As a social worker, I should actually listen to people. I don't. He repeats the same things over and over again, and this is me. It's like he
Mommy. Yay.
No,
I just
not.
was going to reflect something I've heard from my partner, who's also a worker, and Timmy.
What's her name?
He says that just by expressing it, no matter how much it's repeated or whatever,
What's her name?
That is a problem or is stuck on.
Mama.
And it's so frustrating to me to hear something over and over, but but in some way I'm okay with maybe that if it's helpful.
Yeah. The thing that I heard you saying, Michelle, was how the business is his entire life and everything in it is his entire life, and that includes you.
What's her name?
May I please introduce you ladies to my youngest son?
What's her name?
This is Liam, who wants to know everyone's name. So at the moment you can see Molly, Michelle, Jude and Jaya.
Mommy.
Yeah, and then that's Mummy and Liam. Okay? Yeah. You want to say goodbye and go and have your breakfast? Thank you. My apologies. Morning breakfast time. And this is my oldest. This is my oldest, Max. So yeah, Max.
What's her name?
So this is Molly, this is Jaya, this is Jude, and this is Michelle. Okay.
Hi.
We're good. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah. One thing that I have noticed when it comes to other people doing their thing, it's, I think I lost a little bit of what Molly was saying as I was moving because of the connection, but that repetition is around, it's not about you, the person they're speaking to, as much as it is about them. It's how they process, it's how they understand, and it's how they re-quantify and qualify information so that they can source it into an output, an outcome. So it's actually just about recognizing that our responses to the information that is being shared, given, or the interaction that we're having is actually about us, not about them. So actually detaching from that level, which is probably why, Michelle, in your social work situations, it's actually easier for you to do the listening because it's completely foreign, potentially first time. You're coming at it from your professional point of view, as opposed to when you're in your relationship, you're coming at it from your your partnership point of view. And I know when David says to me, just coach yourself out of it, how would you approach this from your coaching things? It drives me bonkers because I'm not in that zone. That's I'm in my relationship mode. I'm not in that space. So it's but it does teach me a lot about my interpretations, because my reactions often around how I'm being spoken to or approached about things are you've already told me this. So it makes me feel as though I'm assuming he thinks I haven't heard him, didn't listen, I'm not interested, whatever that might be. Thank you, Molly, and thank you, Jaya. I have read your messages. I appreciate you being here and your time. It's so valuable. Thank you. And yes, if you have queries or questions about your businesses, just let me know. Keep in touch. So does that, can you resonate with that, Michelle, when it comes to those conversations with Damien?
Actually, through this challenge is I'm not being professional.
Okay, interesting.
Which is quite shocking. I'm going to work and just doing the bare minimum because there's no pressure there for me to do a psych assessment. It's not life threatening.
Yeah.
This job is not dealing with people in psychosis. I have not taken it as a job. I have not behaved professionally. And so actually today I have a 3:00 bike ride with clients. So I'm actually going to be setting up our spare room as a home office so that I can do I like visual things. So get stuff up on the race calendar, all the things I need up and so that I can spread out and have my mind being at work a lot easier if I know I'm getting my work. So
yeah. And I'm wondering with the workshops
would be so you try and work in retail and you have people coming in constantly. So you then have to go back and start again or try and remember where you're up to. So by setting up my home office, I'll be able to do my marketing and all that for the week in one day.
Yeah.
And then I can step back and concentrate more on the customers and what.
Awesome. Yay. There seems to be a lot more, I'm definitely feeling there's a lot more value that you could be acknowledging that you bring to that business with your social work, especially around the mental aptitude of the triathletes. And, you're even going out and doing speaking gigs at gyms around, mental preparation and how you get ready for these things to bring a wider community to what you currently do, because it does sound like you've built a community. It doesn't sound as though it's just a shop where people come in. There is a lot more to it as well. And I just think maybe just acknowledging those quadrants as being your area of genius and where you can step in, like you said, around marketing, is going to be of service to you and your skills, and seeing you bring more strengths, which I think once you see the connection between those things will help you go, actually, this is my profession. This is where I can be the best me, even though the product and the output might not be my passion. The people that need service here could be.
Yeah, that's where I'm working. That's how I've always worked. I'm very intuitive. When people come in, I can pick up insecurities, feeling like they learned a new way to think, that they value themselves more.
Yeah.
And that's where my strength lies. Doing workshops, we do a lot of workshops, but I've never thought of clubs ask me to run workshops for them around self-esteem, but I haven't done anything about it. I haven't sat down and planned it out because it's an excuse. Damien talking to me all the time is my excuse for not getting anything done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after.
There's a lot to be said for taking accountability as opposed to that blame. When we internalize and when we go inwards and we say, you know, what don't I like about this, or what don't I like about that situation for me, from my perspective, how am I reacting to this, as opposed to how could I respond, or what are the emotions that are coming up, and then how am I nurturing their lasting feelings. It becomes really, really interesting because we take accountability for the action, the behavior, the thought process and pattern that we're nurturing, as opposed to going, actually it's because that person did that, or because it's that. Not so much blame, that's quite a big word, but putting the onus on the outside influence as opposed to the internal influence. Yeah.
I think I have more of an understanding of Damien's frustration with me now, because he knows my potential. He's seen me in work situations. I mean, I organise and we raise thousands of dollars for cancer research every year.
Wow.
Through events, and I can't and I've been using him as an excuse. So there's my light bulb moment of the
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Did you have any other queries or questions that you wanted to talk through?
No, I'll set my office up and finish it off today.
Yay.
I'm a bit excited.
And schedule in some speaking gigs. Awesome.
Yeah, don't talk to me. I'm trying to work. I'll put it on my door saying, don't talk to me.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, thank you so much for being part of this, Michelle. It's been wonderful. Jude and Jaya. Jaya, do you have to go soon? So is there anything that you would like to talk through or chat about before you leave?
I do need to go soon, and I don't have a very specific question in this moment. I'm sure there's lots of things. Nothing that in this moment feels pressing.
Feels needing, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here and having your presence. It's been beautiful to reconnect with you too.
In this moment.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll be here for another 2-3 minutes, and then I'll just.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
it was
so
wonderful
welcome.
meeting everyone.
Nice to meet you.
Yay. All right, Jude and Catherine, who would like to talk through some queries or questions that you might have?
Kat, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can do. So first of all, unfortunately, a lot of this call has just out for me, and I haven't been able to hear people. So, big apology if I repeat anything.
Catherine,
great to covered, but it's been really great to hear other people's stories. It's really, really interesting to hear all the different businesses and how people approach them, and that it's not always just the product you're selling, but all the stuff that's around it and the other things that you bring to it personally. I wonder, and it's a question, it is a commitment of everybody's time, including those of us who are working through the worksheets and the photos as an accountability thing. Would it be possible to have a call maybe in a month and just see how people have gone on with finishing things?
That's a cool idea.
Yeah. So that's going to be something that I definitely want to do to see how everyone is going. And I'm going to connect individually with everyone after the call just to talk through some options around what we could possibly do regarding that, because I think something about this particular challenge group and community has been really quite receptive and engaging. So it would be nice to actually support the group going forwards and doing something. So yes, we will definitely be sorting that out. And if you keep your answers, if you keep coming back to things, because like I've said, when you come to your reflections and when you go into each individual day and it sparks a realization from a previous day, just go back into that thread and it notifies everybody in the thread, because I've been tagging everyone as well. So we all get to see all of that information, and it might spark some inspiration and creativity for other people as well, which is why those threads are going to stay there and their lives are going to stay there. And it's all really key information for us to come back to. So if you go into the group and you search underneath it, you'll if you search in the group, you'll be able to search for day 1, day 2, and it will always come up with those particular challenges. That's one of the reasons that I use the hashtags, because that's just a way of being able to easily search for the information that you're looking for. So hopefully that will help as well.
Okay.
Has that helped, Catherine?
Yeah, it has. Thank you. Yep. Final reflections.
Why does it have your face, Mum?
Because I'm talking. So Catherine, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about or get clarity on for the beginning of your business?
I directed it.
Good boy. Hey,
Sorry, Alison, was that question directed at me? It's, the line's not great.
It keeps muting you. I'm not sure if that's something that's happening on your end or not.
It might. I don't know. Yeah, it might be. Okay, I'll try again now. Questions for me. Well, it's really early days for me. That given that I want to do some writing, some of the things like we talk about having a premium offering, and I think like a
yeah.
I'm not sure I can apply those to writing. So I appreciate not everything will fit. So, but it's bringing up some interesting. It's making me think. Oh, okay, well, if that wouldn't work, what would instead? And I've just got a lot more. Like I said in the messages, just that whole not thinking of myself as this corporate person, and that's all I do, has been really helpful.
Yeah. So even when it comes to, I suppose for you, when you're talking about your business structures, it's really about, what are the services that you want to provide within the writing field? Is it, is it copywriting? Is it actual, blogging for industries? Is it specific articles? Is it manuals? So it's the different levels of service, and then even proofreading. Is that going to be part of your repertoire? There's lots of different ways of including a hierarchy, I guess, a ladder effect of particular services. And again, when you look at your clients and your audience, the people that you're looking at being of service to, you'll find it, okay, well, what are the other realms that connect the dots between this piece of work that I'm already doing that could be either a precursor or an after service to kind of give a spectrum of options.
I was not second or third word. The second or third word sounded pretty great. But yeah, I might pop a message into one of the lives afterwards, and you and anyone else who wants to contribute.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for being part of this challenge. It's so cool, Catherine. So cool. So Jude, how have what questions and queries do you have?
Right. Well, my big struggle with my business is I'm doing quite well at building up a community and connecting with people, you know, with social media and all. How do you get from there to actually having them as paying clients? Because that's where I really struggled, was actually getting people into that paying client.
I think it's about recognizing the value that you give. So what is the free value that you offer? How do they know that you are good at what you do? So think about yourself as a customer and a client. When you want to procure services, because that's what you're offering services. So look at people that you go to who offer services, and what is it about them that draws you in, that makes you say, I want to work with that person, or I want to have a reading with that person, or I want to, is it the confidence? Is it the presence? Is it the fact that you've seen some of their work previously? Is it a fact that it's a referral from a friend? So when I've said before about audiences, we often attract and want to work with people that we are similar to or have a connection with through experiences that we have gone through, because we know we can be of service to them. We get them. We understand them. We have that innate connection. So it's about exploiting comes to mind, sharing, expressing your story, sharing everything that you have been through to be able to get people to go, she gets me. She knows what I'm on about. She knows why I need what I need, and she can give me the outcomes that I want. So, a lot of the stuff that I like, my Facebook community group, the Conscious Creationers, a lot of people in there have worked with me, have been interested in working with me, or are looking to work with me in the future. But they've connected either by seeing something that I've done, speaking to somebody that I've already worked with, seeing a result of somebody that I've worked with. And I think this is where, a lot of people get very shy about sharing the value that they've brought other people, sharing the successes that they have had with people. Jude, you wrote a beautiful comment the other day about how challenging this challenge had been for you, but in such a good way, and you could feel the momentum that was coming, and that really hit home for me, and it made me feel really good. It made me feel great. I felt like, yes, that's what I wanted from this challenge. I wanted to bring up a lot of stuff. I wanted people to, feel that there is more to this business world than just making money. That doesn't bring me passion, and that's where I feel I'm different. Money is a means to an end. It's the emotions, it's the feelings, it's the success, it's the vibrancy, it's the joy, it's all those amazing feelings that come out of working with people. That is my reason, and when I feel that, I share those successes with, because that then for me holds a vibration, holds a frequency, holds a meaning, that allows me to go, I nailed something, but the outcome was for somebody else. So sharing those testimonials, sharing those good news stories, and seeking them out, getting that feedback from people so that you can understand what you're good at, what you actually do offer them, and what you have done for them. So if you give a reading where you say something's going to happen in the future, or you give a healing, following up and say, you had a reading 6 months ago. How has your journey been since? How have you been traveling since then? Have you noticed anything come to pass that we discussed, that we talked about, that you felt? Have you had an improvement in health, mental clarity, well-being, whatever it might be? Follow up with your clients. Let them know that you remember, that you care, that you're interested, you're invested in the outcome, because it wasn't just a one-off transaction for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. and it's something I haven't been as good as I could be. So.
Yeah, I think it's. Sorry, what was that, Michelle?
No, I was just saying you need to make time for that follow-up.
Yeah.
That bikes, we ring
Right.
6 weeks and we say your bike's due for the free service. Can you? Ma'am,
Yeah.
you're due for your 6-month service. When can I book you in?
Yeah.
Because people yet they think about, oh, I've got to do this, but by being a convenient service, you're enabling them to. It just makes it easier. It makes
that makes sense.
Easier for, and they love the fact that you're thinking for them,
Yeah.
and then they can just, or I'll message them, and then that we can work out together when they can fit it in.
Yeah.
The customer service,
Right, that makes
and
sense.
they get to trust you and see that you really care.
Yeah.
About them, and that's a big key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has to be a priority, because it takes you. Damien has taught me it takes about 3 visits before a customer will engage in purchase. But if you aren't contacting them and engaging with them on a regular basis, they will forget about you.
Yeah.
So you need to be reminding them you're there, so they think of you when they need that help.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, from social media aspects, I've found that, you know, if you convert 1% of your social media following, that is on average between 1 and 3%. Okay. So so you are talking very low numbers. And another consistent factor that I've found in social media is that until you reach roughly 300 people in a closed group, the engagement within your group is very low, because people are spending a lot of time lurking. They're not creating that community effect. They're not creating that they're not making requests of you. They're waiting for you to show up first, consistently serve, and build the audience. Because people are shy in small numbers, and on social media they are able to lurk. So whatever you do, do not be frightened of small groups. Do not be frightened of being consistent, and always know that your message is reaching people, because they'll be following you for a long time, and they will be watching and watching and watching before they actually feel confident enough to purchase. And sometimes it's a life event that will create that, but because you've been there and because you've been consistent, they will then think of you in that moment when they need something. Because let's face it, with the service, then it's not until they feel that they need something. People don't reach out and actually tend to have maintenance, you know, on themselves until they are in a crisis or a challenging situation or a conflict, or they feel like there's no other options or ways out. So by consistently being there and showing up, you will be in the forefront of their mind for help in their time of need. So even talking about those things, even talking about, you know, client journeys, not being specific with clients and customers that you've already had, but, you know, really identifying that if one person has come to you for something, there's a whole heap of other people out there in exactly the same situation. So expressing how you can support and help those people, or how you have, or giving them free and frank advice and support will build that likability, will build that trust factor, will build that engagement and authenticity. And it really comes from there. So once you've got an engaged audience, and once you are clearly offering value and people can see that, people will start reaching out and people will start messaging. It's then where you set your boundaries around, this is my free advice, but actually I could support you better with these services, and this is how I work within my business, and I would love for you to think about how one of these services might resonate most with you, and we could start supporting you in one of these ways. And that's where you can connect with, this is my why, this is what I need to do, and this is how best I can support. When you're with a friend having a cup of tea and you give your advice, your free and frank support, your intuitive guidance, whatever, it's different from when you're sitting there in your professional capacity and you go, actually, this is my area of genius and service. You give more from that perspective, because at that moment in time, that is your primary concern, that person, that role, that area. So free and frank advice from a friend perspective and a cup of tea is great. But when you're in your role of your business, that is all you are doing. There's no chit chat around it. It's just pure service for them. And if people are reaching out for that, that's what you say is the best way of serving them. Does that help break the barrier for you?
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. You've made such strides this week. It's
Thank you,
been
Michelle,
incredible.
That's really good advice.
When you get onto your client journey, you'll see a lot of that. Sorry, I didn't say over and out. When you get onto the when you get onto the client journey day, you'll see that life cycle of client and the relationship and the building. So I think that's day 6. Yeah, I think that's day 6 when we start talking about client journeys. How do you onboard your clients? How do you farewell your clients? How do you follow up if you choose to? What is that what is the intermittent contact, and how do you keep that consistent for your client's sake and also for your own business?
Cool. Yep.
One of the things that I have learnt over the last couple of years is we have our training community and our store. And one of the ladies asked me where I got my headphones from. And I'm like, we sell them. She goes, I didn't know you had those. And then that got me thinking, store and business, but my customers don't. And I need to open that door and give them so that they'll be inclined to come to me and buy it. Yeah. So I think it's really important to, this is what I can offer you, because they don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah. Have to do it. You know what you do, but they don't.
Yeah.
And they'll look bored if they don't want to hear anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I would say is some of the most successful service-based entrepreneurs that I know do not have a website, because they haven't needed it, because their value and their content comes from social media, comes from themselves, comes from them telling people everything that they do. Because even I have found my clients don't check my website before they contact me. They fill out a discovery form that they found somewhere, or they've had a referral from somebody, but they haven't gone onto my website to see what I do. So, when I first started in business, and I spent so long setting up my website, making sure it was perfect. It had all my services on there. I went transparent with my prices. You know, I thought, right, now I can just sit back and wait because people will find me, and they don't. The website is one of the last things people do. They want to see live action. They want to see the person. They want to build that connection. A website doesn't really do that. A YouTube channel does, a Facebook group does, all these other things that are more personable than a website. People don't sit there and read information so much anymore. So yeah, I mean, even Michelle, getting on to your Facebook group for your shop, you know, inviting everyone to join, or, you know, having a newsletter that you send out and saying, hey, did you know that we sell these are amazing, you know, because Bluetooth enabled fabulous headphones or whatever it is. You know, hey, did you know we do this as well? And yeah, it's just, you know, product of the month or something. It's just a fabulous way of opening people's eyes to opportunity, to difference, to you know, this is your one-stop shop for everything triathlon, athleticism, you know, mindset, focus. Yeah, it's awesome. So cool.
That's really cool. Thank you. That's really helpful.
Good. So we've been going, ladies, for a good hour and a half.
And I'll look forward to day 6.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we have 2.
I know. It's gone so quickly. But now I've got Jude and Michelle and Kat left. Does anyone have any last questions or queries that you would like to have covered off this morning?
I'm good. I'm just going to do the rest of the challenge. I think that will help a lot.
Good. I think it will too.
I'm going to go and set up my home office.
Oh, you're so excited, Michelle. It's going to be... Would you send us a photo? Would you show us a photo of it when it's done?
Office.
Yes, please.
Yep, no worries.
Awesome. Cool. And Catherine, are you good on the other end there?
Yeah.
I think I might.
Good. Okay. Well, I'm off to the Great Barrier Reef today for a day of snorkeling, submersible water bits and pieces, and fabulous life bucket list life stuff. And I'm so excited. So I'll go and say good morning to my boys properly and yeah, get on with my day. But listen, thank you so much. I am going to be contacting each of you in turn because I am really keen to see if any of you would be interested in being supported as a group going forwards, because I've loved hearing all of your news and your engagement and staying connected, and I'd love to keep the momentum going. So do keep going back into the day challenges, going into the threads, having a look at the lives, sharing your successes, you know, in the thread days going forwards, and keeping yourself together. So I guess the one thing that I said in day 7 was reflections. And for me, the last question on each of the pages is probably going to be your key question. You know, what can I do next? What is the thing that I'm going to do next? And I put a link in for my free mindset pathway and planning tool to help you kind of, once you've identified all of the things that you want to incorporate and integrate from the day's challenges, identifying where you want to go to next, how you're going to prioritize those things, and then actually help you gain traction on being able to plan for them so that you don't become overwhelmed, have too many things on the go, and try to be all things to all people again. So if that resonates with you, then just click on the link and download it. And you know that I am here and in the group to support you at any time. So honestly, I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart for doing this challenge and for engaging and contributing the way that you have. And I really hope that it brings you much business success and personal success as well, because that was the aim of the game. So thank you so much again for being here, and I will hopefully connect with you all again shortly and tell you all about the Great Barrier Reef. Have a lovely, lovely Sunday. Happy Sunday
Sounds
to all
amazing.
of you. Thank you. Have a lovely Sunday.
Alison.
Yay. All the
Okay.
best. See you later,
Bye.
team. Bye.
See ya.
Right. Take care. Lovely to meet everyone.
Bye.
Bye.